Why, hello there, everybody, and welcome back to Hardcore Heroes. How are you guys doing today?
I'm
I'm
doing
all
all
right.
right.
Yeah,
Yep.
April 1st was pretty terrible, though.
Do you want to give us an April 1st story?
Yeah, sure. So I didn't think my floor was going to be really into April Fools,
Hmm.
but it got bad enough that the police got called to my floor. I was seeing vandalism.
Wow.
It, so like people were graffitiing penises on the wall of the hallway. What else? They took all the furniture out of the lounge and barricaded the elevators with like giant tables, and they put chairs in. They had open back chairs that they pushed into the bottom legs so people couldn't prop them up and push them out of the way. Like
Wow.
they duct taped the RA's door and sealed it completely. It was terrible.
With the RA inside?
I don't know if he was inside or not.
What's
If
the
he was,
RA? Is that like
they
a-
go in when you open them, so he would have had to cut his way out with scissors if he wasn't there.
is that like a student who looks after like an older student
Yeah.
who looks after the hall? Okay. Yeah, I've seen that in films. We didn't have that in England.
Yeah, apparently you need
Do
them.
you have dorms in England?
Yeah, universities have dorms, but there's no.
Who watches the dorms? Like, do they just let? Are Englishmen so proper that 18-year-old kids don't go crazy? Like,
Well, I mean, you can drink at 18 in England, so it's pretty much debauchery from the moment like the first day you get to university. It's just like debauchery from that moment forward.
Wait
I
a
don't
minute.
think you don't really want
so
to.
it's just go hog wild. No one's there to watch. We don't care.
Yeah. Oh, Neil, I think me and Greg are wrong on the stream.
Yeah, I don't know how that happened. Because we never fixed you guys from the initial. All right, so can we get Nick and Sean to kill their cams, and then to turn them back on in that order?
Okay.
Oh, wait, stop video. There we go.
There we
Me
go.
first. Okay, there we go.
There we go. Fantastic. Look
Well,
at
Is it
that.
fixed now?
Perfect.
Bam!
Yes,
Look at
yes,
that. Wow.
good, solid, perfect.
That is awesome.
Well, that's exciting. Any
Yeah,
of you other guys have something going on for April 1st?
No. No.
No hilarious Texan pranks for you, Croak?
Texan pranks? No, I mean we probably could have had Texas pranks, but due to the funeral and service and stuff, we've been kind of a somber crowd.
That would make a little bit of sense.
Yeah. I guess my family, my brother, my parents got together with some old friends from El Paso days, and we went out and played billiards and had some beer last night, and that was a good time. That was the first time we've kind of gotten out and done our own thing. We all had a blast, but there was no real April Fools going on.
Nice. Nick, is April Fool's Day a thing in the UK?
Yeah, it's a thing. I don't know. I didn't come across anything. It just all depends. I was out of work. I'm sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. My office is kind of too serious. I can't imagine anyone doing any pranks. It's too stressed out. So
Yeah, it's entirely my fault. My dorm has a reputation for all the degenerates living there, and by that I mean freshmen.
does that include yourself as a degenerate?
No, I'm a sophomore, so
So you're no longer a degenerate.
yeah, exactly.
No.
No, even when I was, I just locked myself in my room all day. It was fine.
Nice.
So if all of the students can't drink, like what do they do?
They drink
Drink.
anyway.
They drink anyway.
Oh,
Yeah.
they do that too.
I mean, do you have like loads of people like taking drugs because you can't buy alcohol or what?
No, because the drugs are illegal too, and they're
Yeah,
easier
but
to
they're-
get alcohol.
It's easier to get alcohol. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Yes and no.
Yeah,
think-
that's what.
I think if you are underaged, it's just as easy to get drugs as alcohol, if not easier in some
Easier,
places.
I would think. Yeah.
Maybe in
There's a
California,
lot-
now
there's a-
Oregon and Denver and Washington.
Yeah, I'm just speaking from a California perspective because I know as
Outside of the Northwest, California, and Colorado, that's probably not true.
well, I don't know. Well, I mean, I guess it really depends where you go. I was a good kid. I didn't even drink until I was 23, so I have no actual experience with this. But just from my friends and people I've grew up with, I think everything is pretty readily available. At least in California, Southern California, we're kind of that's how we are.
That's the impression I got when I was in California. Seemed like a pretty chill place.
Yeah, pretty much anything goes. But enough about California and April Fool's Day. Let's talk Hardcore Heroes. Does someone want to
Okay.
give us a recap from 2 weeks ago?
All right, I'll do my best as the resident recap person.
Fantastic.
All right. So I think we started off investigating into my father's friend Hiddens, who we suspected might be responsible for poisoning him. Unfortunately, though, Hitchens was no longer around and had been killed, stabbed in the back, found face down in the sea or in the port. So we kind of investigated that for a little bit. All things pointed back to this guy called Boren, who seemed to be price gouging all of the other merchants. And my father had run into him as well, but I don't know, there wasn't an obvious connection between the two, and I think that's kind of still an ongoing investigation. Then we had Croak setting up some sort of incident where he basically found some other thieves and gave them a tip-off of a local merchant who had some gems who they should go and rob, but actually gave them Van Helsing's room. So that was kind of left for now. And then in between all that, I went to meet my father's girlfriend, who turned out to be a siren. So we kind of resolved that pretty quickly. We went to the town sheriff, went to some of the top clerics in the town, organized a way to fight back. And despite my father's insistence that, she was doing nothing wrong, we went and kicked her ass and killed the siren. Father cursed me out, said he wished I'd never been born, and left, spitting in Van's face.
You murdered his girlfriend in front of him.
Yep. I kind of glossing over there that there was a bit of tension between Van and the rest of the party as to how the siren should be handled, with the siren being an object of great beauty. There was kind of some feeling that Chiss maybe would want to protect that, and Van kind of worked to stop us. However, our will was too strong, and the siren was destroyed. And then we returned to the inn just in time for the bandits the thieves to try and rob our room, which we'd set an ambush for them. And then I single-handedly killed 3 of them. I think, or 2 of them. They were vanquished pretty easily. So we killed the siren, we did some investigation, and we set up these thieves and killed them. I mean, I'm not sure what Croak's end game is for that, but maybe that'll be all revealed at a later time. And I bought a dog, Scooby.
Oh, Scooby! How could you forget Scooby?
I totally forgot about Scooby.
You gave us so many clues.
And I got level 3. So
yes.
That leads us into our next thing, Neil, where I'm going to roll for some spells.
Right. So upon leveling, you just automatically pick up to 4 spells. You're going to roll for them.
I am. All
Okay,
right.
give me a second here.
All right.
I'm living into roll 20.
Okay, we'll wait.
I'm
good.
If I fail, more than 2 of these, I'm going to be so annoyed. All right. Do I want low? It's 75% chance, Neil, so what do I want?
You want 1 to 75.
1 to 75. Okay. Let me... All right, so the first one, this is for ESP. Nope. Okay. Invisibility.
No!
Come
on, Malachi.
Alta
Study
self.
better!
Oh my god.
You see, beforehand, he said, I said, oh, actually, the rules are you could probably get 1 or 2 flat out without the rolls. He's like, I got a 75% chance. We're going to go with the rolls. I'm going to get 3. That's going to be fine. What's your fourth and final spell?
Thinking Cloud.
Okay. At least we got that.
So you don't know how to read minds. You can't go invisible. I don't remember which other one was, but you can fart really good.
Yeah, he can summon the most putrid stench.
Yeah.
Neil, how many days did I put into sleep? I feel like you owe me some sympathy here.
Oh, I'm sure you do feel that way.
I think you put in 8 days.
You put in max
8
days. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. What other first level spells did you want to learn?
Well, the only other one I can learn that's first level is Alarm.
Alarm. All right. So D2 days would have been spent learning Alarm. Why don't you roll me another chance to learn, see if you can pick up Alarm.
Okay.
Cool.
There's some level 2 spells in there as well, though.
But you weren't able to learn
You
those
weren't
spells
studying.
until just now.
Totally true. All right.
All right. Cool. So, all spelled up, all geared up. You guys have 18 weeks until your plate mail is done.
Oh yeah,
I
I haven't
haven't-
told me about that yet.
Is it 18 or 16, Neil?
16.
There we go.
Like I know I have to do measurements, but have you told Van about that yet?
I don't know. I don't think we had time to roleplay it last episode. If you want that to be a scene, we can do that.
12, 13, 14, 15, 16.
Yeah, I mean,
Ooh.
I feel like it'd be an interesting conversation. Like, how does Croak approach it?
I don't think. Okay, I'll tell you how Croak approaches it. You're feeling a little down, right? You're in the bar, and Croak comes up and he says, "You ever played a drinking game? Me and my buddies, before I came to Shirebrook, we used to play a game. See, we'd bet, see small tasks, and see if I win, you drink, and if you win, I drink. You interested, Mr. Van? I know you've been feeling down lately. That siren thing was awful. Perhaps this could get your mind off things, you know."
Let it never be said, a servant of the goddess of beauty would never turn down a drinking game.
Excellent, excellent. I'll go first and I'll show you how it's done. I take a look around the bar and I find some patron sitting close to us and I say, "All right, I bet you I can make that poor sir there drinking at the bar get slapped by the barmaiden as she walks on by."
Rude.
And then, as sure enough, barmaiden comes by at some point, I'm gonna reach out as stealthily as I can, using all my years of bar experience and perhaps some thieving skills as well, and pinch her butt really hard right as she walks by that guy. How to make it seem like it's him.
Give me a pickpockets check.
Absolutely.
Please roll a 100.
Can we say I'm not wearing my leather armor?
If you normally wear it day to day, then you wear
I
it
usually
now.
do.
Okay, yeah.
That's a success, though.
All right, so she walks by, you go around, give her a subtle pinch.
Not so subtle, like real aggressive.
Well,
but-
yeah, but like, subtle that no one
Yeah.
can see. She whirls around. There's only the one guy nearby. Takes the mug of ale that she had, dumps it over his head, and he turns in surprise. She gives him a "that's for that" sort of look, and turns around and goes back to the bar to get another pitcher of ale.
Well, I say they don't quite slap as easily as they do back in Shirebrook around here. I guess that one's on me.
I'll drink too. It was close enough.
Your turn, Van. What do you got for me?
I'll bet you that I can make the next man walk out of this bar to trip over his own feet.
Really? All right, I'm interested.
I want to go find a broom somewhere.
All right. Where do you find a broom in a bar?
Just anything that's like a nice, like small stick will do.
Right.
Fire poker.
Something like
Yeah,
that.
there's a fire poker near the hearth.
Yeah, so I grab one and I walk outside, like,
Sure.
right outside the door.
Yeah, we
Cast
wait.
trip on it while laying it like right outside the door, and I cast trip on it.
You have trip memorized?
Yep, because it's a new day.
All right. Trip.
Anybody who walks past that has to make a saving throw versus spell or trip over it because it's levitating slightly in the air.
That's such a mean spell. All right. Few minutes pass. Eventually, one of the patrons, a little bit off his rocker from too much ale, starts stumbling for the front door, presumably to head to the outhouse or something, and completely does not notice this thing levitating off the ground, hits it, falls flat on his face with a big flap, and just kind of lies there stunned for a moment. And then slowly...
Van's like,
Ugh.
Van's hiding a few buildings down, just like watching from an alley, and just starts laughing.
I don't think Croak's a few buildings down. Croak is right outside, just like.
The guy looks at Croak, gives you one of those, "You laughing at me, bub, huh?"
I sure am. You on the ground, son. That's the funniest thing I had done ever see in this town. Look at that thing. You tripped right on over a fire poker. You kidding me? You had a bit too much drink, son. You better be getting home.
He turns bright red and stumbles off in the opposite direction.
Van comes back and grabs the fire poker, puts it back in its place in the bar, and sits back down.
Excellent, excellent. Oh boy.
So then we both get drunk and
What is this about? Plate mail?
Okay, so I guess we trade back and forth for a while. We don't have to role play each and every one.
yeah.
Eventually, we've been drinking, and Croak kind of lays his arm around Van. He's like, "Man, we need to give you some. We need to give you some more armor out there. Get you something a little special. I think you've been down on your luck, and you've been really kind of dragged away from your home. You know, Shirebrook was where you had your temple, born and raised, and you were helping out an old friend here in Malachi. Why don't you let Croak do something special for you? Kind of rub your armor a little bit. Said, you're kind of taking a few blows out there. I seen you get all bloodied up after a fight. Why don't we get you in something real special? I got me a contact here. He's a friend of mine. He can build you up some nice plate armor. Get some waves and some beautiful etchings in it, worthy of a man of Chiss. What do you say to that, man?
I would be honored to carry bronze plate mail. How much do you need for this armor? I can only
My
have
friend,
about 100 gold.
I tell you what, you keep your 100 gold. You and I have been close for a number of years here in Shirebrook, and I know that consider this a gift from your dear friend Croak, because we know we've been a burden on you. You know, it's a hard thing to leave your congregation, your flock in Shirebrook. You know, you were a man of God there. And this will be from me to you. Why don't we say we get you in there, get some measurements, you know, take about a week to fit you up, and Croak will take care of everything. You know, I'm good for it as always.
My good friend Croak has my sincere appreciation.
I was drink to that, son. And so with that, I guess we'll probably just stumble down there, and I'll show them the place and be like, you know, be here about a week's worth of measurings and gettings, and they'll fix you right on up.
That seems doable.
And I show them the armor I paid last session. And I'd probably ask him to trip a few more people with that fire poker as we walk down the street. I couldn't get up to that.
Oh god, I don't think it lasts that long.
Is it until activated, or does it keep going?
Let me check. I'm pretty sure it only lasts like a few minutes.
10 minutes per level.
Oh wow. So it'd be like 30 minutes. Yeah, in that case I could take it down the street with us, just bring it back to the bar a few hours later. They wonder where their fire poker is.
I love the vision of two very drunk individuals, one like pretty and perfect and pristine, and this big fat slob with bulging eyes carrying a fire poker out of the bar.
Just like lay it on the street, just like this is gonna be good. This is gonna be good.
There we go, guys.
Some guys like walk. They put it right in front of some guys. Just staring. What the fuck are you doing?
All right. So, you guys, what are your big long-term plans for Redport? Now that you know you're going to be sticking around for a while, for a few months, because it's currently the 10th of February, and the
16 weeks.
armor is slated to be finished on the last day of May. So you got plenty of time. Yeah, on May 31st, it's supposed to be done. Then you'll need to be around for at least 2 weeks for some measurements.
I've got a few things that I want to achieve.
Sure.
So I've got 5 level 2 spells to learn. So that's going to take somewhere between
5 and 10 days.
10 and 20 days.
Yeah, 10 and 20 days.
Yeah. And then I don't know how long it would take, but we discussed before maybe researching a way to. I wanted to be able to cast continual light, but turn it on and off.
Right. So you're going to want to create.
But do I need the continual light spell to do that, or would it technically be a new spell? So I don't.
It would be a new spell, but if you want a continual light that you have to turn on or off, you're probably going to be looking at a 3rd or 4th level spell. Because it's
Oh, okay.
continual light plus extra fancy utility.
Yeah. Okay. Well, never mind that then. Yeah. So at least for the first 2 or 3 weeks, that's what I'll be doing. Studying.
Okay.
Okay, cool.
I think one thing Van wants to do, knowing that he's going to be getting bronze plate mail, is get like a Is it a
You're getting
surcoat?
field plate.
Oh, field plate. Yeah. Is it
I'm
is it
playing
called
for
like a
field
surcoat?
plate.
Like the coat that usually has like a symbol or an emblem over the armor.
No, we're just talking the armor itself. No.
Yeah, I want to have one designed with like a symbol of cheese on it.
Okay.
To get, like, a proper surcoat to put over the armor.
I paid him an extra 200 gold to like make it fancy, so you could sit there and tell him like, do whatever, right? Like he's under instructions to make it as nice and beautiful as he can for you.
Okay. I think
Cool.
that would probably go toward like trimming and along the arms and legs then, so that there could be like that jacket to put over it. Because you don't really need to put like fancy engravings underneath a coat. Plus, like I feel like a coat would be pretty standard issue because then it doesn't rust in the rain as easily.
Sure.
Oh, actually, Neil, I've got some more thoughts.
Yes.
Maybe I want to try and find a wizard and with a shop and offer my services.
There is indeed a wizard shop. There are 2 magic shops here. One that is specifically tailored for wizards, and one that is specifically tailored for clerics.
Interesting.
So I would like to go there and perhaps suggest that I help work the shop in exchange for some access to his spellbooks.
Interesting. That is most unexpected. Let me take a look at our resident shopkeeper here. So the wizard shop is run by a full-blooded elf named Sithladin.
Sithladin, okay.
Sithladin.
Elves are rare, right?
Elves are rare. There was one druid and his family that lived near Shirebrook, kind of out in the woods. But he was that weird druid that lives out in the woods and never really comes into town, and people might see him occasionally. Maybe some farmers would run into him, but no one ever really interacted with him heavily. And that would be the only elf any of you have ever even possibly seen.
Okay, that's very interesting.
Yeah. So walking into Sithladin's shop, you see this 5'1", 86-pound elven male. You know, not very tall, very, very slender, but doesn't look emaciated. You know, the elves are just, their bones are much thinner and lighter than humans.
Sure.
And
Okay. So I walk in then, and I want to start. Greetings, friend, and I kind of like linger my stare on him for a bit longer, noticing that he's an elf. And I start looking around. Does he have like items on display?
he
in the
does.
shop?
Yes.
So I want to start just casually looking through things.
Okay.
Is there anything that stands out?
There are various spell components, which we don't really use because we're going by the books. But there are various spell components and accessories to things. Very nice. You know, like you've got daggers, but they're very beautifully engraved daggers. You know, not decorative, but for the wizard who likes to have a little something up his sleeve. But of the highest quality, of course.
Oh, okay.
And various
Actually-
exotic, like crystal balls and just shit that wizards have lying around. And some nice robes, beautiful carved staves with various things attached to the ends of them. Nice cloaks and hoods and capes and jackets and boots and everything the traveling wizard would want.
So I start looking at some of these daggers then
Mm-hmm.
that he's got on display, and maybe I bring one of them over to his counter, and I say, greetings. I don't think we've met before. My name's Malachi.
He gives you a slight nod of the head and says, "My name is Sithladin, the sorcerer."
An elf. What
Yes.
brings you here?
He gestures to the shop around him.
I suppose that's good answer as any. So say these daggers here. Anything special about them, or are they just elven fancy?
Just elven fancy.
Okay, I really kind of like the look of this one. How much are you looking for this?
10 gold pieces, please.
10 gold pieces, hey. Yeah, sure. I can stretch to 10 gold pieces. So I'll take this dagger off him.
Okay. He takes your coins, gives you a shallow but warm smile.
Is
And-
it an iron dagger?
No, this is
Okay.
a bronze dagger that is beautifully carved. There were iron daggers, and there were engraved iron daggers as well, if you wanted to bump that up to something else.
Yeah, okay. Maybe I'll do that then. I'll look at it and say, seems like it's still bronze though. You know, you've got some iron ones over there. How much are you selling them for?
The plain iron dagger is 10 gold. The engraved ones are 25.
Tell you what, I'll take one of the engraved ones.
Is that an upgrade or an additional purchase?
An upgrade, I think. Yes.
Of course.
Okay. So I'll just quickly work out how much gold I've still got left. Right. Yeah. As they say. So I'm no stranger to the arcane arts myself, as I'm sure you can tell.
And
Well, I'm going to be in town for a significant period of time, a few months perhaps, and I was looking to do some studying. I'm short on materials though, and given that I've worked in an establishment like this before, I thought perhaps you could use a hand, someone you can trust, look after your shop for you, maybe in exchange for access to some of your spells.
do you have any references?
I do. Rohanna the Diviner in Shirebrook. I'm sure you know her. She's quite well renowned.
I will write to her. Come back in 2 weeks, and we will see what she has said.
Very well. Thank you for the dagger.
I look forward to seeing you again, young Malachi.
I leave. Head back to the inn.
All right. Croak, while you're kind of walking around this next day through the streets, maybe just after you and Vans split ways, or maybe Vans headed off to an outhouse for a moment or something,
Sure.
there's an odd sort of fellow, medium height, kind of scrawny build, long lanky arms that are folded over his chest, kind of leaning in an alleyway, and he pokes his head out and he goes, "Psst, psst."
Okay. I'll make my way slowly over there. You know, that kind of saunter walk. Nothing. No hurry about it. But I'll make my way over, see what he has to say. Kind of duck into the alley. I guess first thing I'll kind of ask him is, does the owl screech at midnight?
Only on the nights of a full moon.
Excellent. What? I say, well, what can I do for you, sir?
You're that Croak fellow, right?
I am indeed. I'm surprised you've heard of me about these parts. I just got into town.
Yeah. Buddy of mine said he was going to do a job for you and turned up dead.
I see. Who is this again? I want to keep good record of people I've associated with.
You don't know him?
Well, you've only told me a man who did a job for me, and I must say, I have done many jobs with many individuals.
Well, I thought you said you just got here yesterday.
Oh,
Man
you're
here
talking
in
about
Redport.
here?
Mm-hmm.
I do remember speaking with some gentlemen from Infant Mortality, I think the name of the bar was. A bit grotesque for my taste, I will admit. I do remember a gentleman. I gave him a good tip, and I told him where to be. If he ended up dead, that's his fault. Now, tell me, if you wanted my head, we would not be having this cordial conversation now. What is this about?
As I said, my friend has come to an untimely end, as happens to many of us. That said, I'm in need of a replacement for a job that he was going to do for me.
I see. And what is this job?
It's very easy. Simply meet a man at a place and bring something back here. It's an introductory offer for a larger gig later down the road. One of those, what do you call them? Trials. You know, you do this job well, maybe you could do another, you do another one after that or something, and before you know it, you're working with people who have bigger plans.
I see, I see. Well, a wise woman once told me there ain't no such thing, son, as a milk run. Now, what is this easy job that you got here? Picking up a package, where at?
There's a town to the northeast, a little village, really. Town would be too much of a credit for it. It's called Ratburg. Have you heard of it?
That sounds like an awful name. No, I have not heard of the Ratsville.
Ratburg. Anywho, there's a barn in Ratburg, a green barn. Now, since you've just arrived, you may not have heard about the problems we had around here. Some months back, almost half a year now, we had this small war going on. A bunch of hobgoblins, some weird fish-like creatures, some mountain giants, a couple of wargs, you know, real monstrous type folk made a push here for Redport. Of course, we turned them back, but a lot of the countryside got sacked in the process, and Ratburg, well, there's a lot of buildings there, and not nearly as many people as there used to be. Makes it a wonderful place to leave goods and pick up goods. This green barn, well, has been totally abandoned. All you gotta do is head over to the green barn, dig around in the hay for a sack that should be there, or if you're lucky enough to run into our contact, meet him there yourself, take the package off his hands, and bring it back here. No exchange of coin, no nothing.
I see, I see. Well, like I said, there ain't no such thing as a milk run in this here world. As you said, empty buildings are a great place to do business. I've done my fair share in them. But I've also learned, you know, you don't stay alive in this without asking a few questions. And an empty building's a good place to ambush a poor soul like old Croak here. Now, I'd like to learn a little bit more about these other people you mentioned. Higher ambitions. Perhaps if I knew who I was really working for, I might be more inclined to help you with your delivery.
I think you misunderstand the point of this exchange. This is not to bring you into the fold, it's to see if you have the mettle. If you are of the right mind.
I see. Well then.
Package is easy enough to pick up. I could do it myself, but some of us have disappeared. You know, people don't live, and it's good to bring in new blood from time to time, but you got to make sure you're bringing in the right sort of people. Consider this a trial or a test, or he kind of looks out the alleyway and sees Van Helsing coming out of the outhouse, and just kind of says, "If you have any more questions, meet me at, well, you know where to find me." And jogs off down the alleyway.
Make my way back to Van.
Okay. Do you say any of this to Van?
Nope. Oh no.
Okay. Cool.
Oh, no. We continue our drinking.
Yeah.
Sure. The rest of the day is fun and merry and fine.
Yep.
Are you gonna? The rest of the day is fun, merry, and fine. Are we going to skip ahead in some period of time? Because there's some like passive activities Croak would like to be doing.
Yeah, we can skip through the rest of this day in particular, and then we've got some stuff planned for the next day.
Just let me know. And like Croak has like plans for the town a little bit, so I guess on off days I'd like to be doing certain tasks. Yeah.
Sure. What sort of tasks are you talking about?
Okay. first thing I'm doing is I'm wandering the dock district looking for youths who are disenfranchised. Yeah, so poor, down on their luck, maybe homeless. I'm looking for youths that seem to be prone to, that remind Croak of himself as a young lad in Shirebrook, who, was taken under Abbot Tuto's wing and learned. I want to be scouting the merchant district near Boren's new establishment that we learned about, and be looking for a place like a street over, right? That I think that if there was a good enough distraction near to him on that street, I could go there with the guards preoccupied, and get a good feel for the place. Maybe I'll go in and pretend to shop and do things like that in different areas. And then as I find the youths, I would like to give them all enough coin to buy a pound of flour and ask them to buy it for me. And then monitor them and judge how they go about acquiring my flour and what they do.
Now, how do you judge someone in their flower buying skills? Is that...
So, for example, I'm looking for a youth that is not too independent. So if they steal my coin and run off, I'm going to scratch them off my list. If they walk up to a flour merchant, buy me a bag of flour, and then return to me, I'm not as interested in them. Maybe they swindle the flour merchant and only pay half. Or perhaps they have sticky fingers and grab a pound of flour and keep my coin. Or some other thing like that. Those are the ones I'm looking for.
Okay, so you want to find some hooligans.
Yes. Hooligans that lack a certain amount of independence and maybe are willing to take guidance from a strange fat man. Who wants a lot of flour.
All right. Sure. You find some youths and start passing out coins and observing them. Two of these kids, not suckers, take your coin and head off to a flower merchant. And when you watch them there, they seem to be, well, they're independent. So the first guy shows up, talks to the merchant about various types of flowers, and then kind of suddenly walks away with his head kind of hung low, and then goes around the corner, comes back from the other side, and just like swipes a bag of flour from a merchant.
Beautiful.
The second guy goes over to the merchant and, standing directly in front of him, takes the bag, smiles, and then turns and runs while the merchant chases after him and calls for guards, and a couple of people reach out for him.
Does he get caught?
Makes some... No. He manages to duck between enough people and scramble, and he's a kid, so he's short and fast and can squeeze in places that adults can't get to, and manages to just take off like a nice, look
Excellent.
what I'm doing, gone.
Good.
The other four that you work with, one of them takes your coins and walks away, and then just heads over to a bar and meets up with some friends.
Okay.
And then the other two actually buy the flour you want.
Okay. I'll take the 2 pounds of flour from them. They give it back to me, and I thank them and let them leave. I'm gonna take note of those other 2 kids though, and when they give me their flour, I'm gonna tell them, hey, if you want to earn more coin, serious coin, like come see me in X many days. Like I'll say like 3 weeks or something. I've got something planned, and you 2 passed. Like you didn't know it, but you 2 passed. Come see me. And I give them a location in like meet me on this street at night.
Sure. Okay, that will be on the 2nd of March, is 3 weeks from today.
Okay. Beautiful.
Cool. So we can just gloss over this a day, unless Malachi, you want to learn some spells?
Yep.
What spell do you want to start learning?
Irritation.
Irritation. All right, so that's 2d2 days, which I roll in secret. Okay.
Is he allowed to try and study for the spells that he failed to insta-get, or does he have to wait until he's...
It's called point now. Am I?
You will have to wait till you've leveled up again, because you get one
Yeah.
check per level. That said, now that you're level 3, if there's any first level spells that you tried to learn and failed, and still have access to, you can try again.
It was only sleep, but I already got it. So.
Okay, cool. Alright, so that is that day down. The next day, as you guys are all getting up and heading out of your tavern, there is someone that your tavern's built kind of near a small town square. It's not the town square, but it's one of these little small areas where people gather, and there's a little fountain and a little raised area for plays and whatnot. There is a guy out there, one of the town criers. He's standing in these long white robes trimmed in blue, and he's shouting about the need for mercenaries, and he's shouting about how the military force here in Redport's been depleted, and there's problems in the hills, and Lord Redwing needs good mercenaries who are willing to make some good coin to get tasks done. Redport is a wealthy town, but we have many problems, and we do not have enough soldiers to handle them all. Many of the people out in the hills suffered greatly under the invasion, and need our help. Do we have anyone out there that's willing to risk their life and limb for, let's say, 50 gold coins? Anyone willing to risk their lives for 50 coins? There's a couple of people that come up and start asking questions and kind of walk away.
Is it 50 gold coins per head, or for the entire group?
You don't know. You just hear him saying these things. You'd have to go over and talk with him.
Yeah, I'll walk up to him and say, I guess I just asked him that. Like, is this 50 gold coins per head, or for an entire group?
Well, we have a couple of issues out there. What is it that... How many people do you have? And what sort of work are you looking to take on? We have a lot of things that need doing.
We're 3 strong. We, tell me what kind of work you have.
Well, we've got some caravans that need guarding. Pretty easy stuff to do. That's 50 gold a job to get a caravan from... where's our map? From Redport all the way down to Rockwave. And that 50 gold will be split between the 6 people that we hire for that job. So that's kind of a bigger job. If you only got 3 people, let's see, he pulls out a piece of paper or a stack of papers and starts flipping through them and goes, here we go. There's a small village to the east. Well, smaller now. And they have a weird problem. People have been discovered... Yeah, people have been discovered eaten alive, or killed through being eaten by rats. Huge, giant rats. Now, rats are not really a big deal, but if these rats spread and travel to other towns, we might have a countryside overrun with man-eating rats. So we need some people to go there and, solve this problem. It's not that big of a deal, and this one, he flips the page over.
Does this happen to be Ratsville?
Ratsburg.
Ratburg. Single Ratsburg. He flips through his paper, goes, this one, God, yeah, flesh-eating rats, could be spreading disease. 50 gold if you can solve this. Whole problem, 50 gold. Shouldn't be too hard, but this is the sort of thing we just send a few soldiers off to take care of normally. But look at this place. Half our forces died in that battle.
Perhaps this is why you have issues with your fighting force being stretched a bit too thin. You don't have... this is a dock. Look at this. Look around. You're in a dock and you don't know how to deal with rats? I'll take your 50 gold. Let me find a poison shop for you. Bit of rat poison fix this problem right up.
Thank you. That whatever you can do to solve it. The people of Ratburg have been having some issues of their own.
All right, man. I hate to take advantage, but if you're handing out gold,
look, if you think a little bit of poison will solve this problem, be my guest. But these rats have not only eaten people, but they've eaten dogs, and that's a little bit weird. So
how big are these rats?
I haven't seen them. all I've heard are rumors, but people say 3 feet long. Some people say 6 feet long. Some people say a foot long. You know, peasants.
So larger than your average rat. At the
Yeah,
very
we're
least.
talking big man and dog eating rats, like
A
the
rat
stuff
or-
of nightmares.
Very well. I believe we can take this job. I should go. I have some people to talk to. I need some information, however.
All right. Well, if I'm going to be assigning you this job, then I need to know that you guys are taking it. So you guys
We'll
are
take
on.
Yes, we'll take it.
Good man. He shakes your hand in a very formal, kind of sealing the deal sort of way, and lets you know that you should come back here to him at this town square whenever the problem's done. He'll be swinging by in the mornings, making announcements, and just doing the daily rounds when he does his town crying.
Okay.
So he'll be here every day at roughly this time.
So I want to go down to the temple and find that Quantarius priest.
Mhm.
And ask him what he knows. So I tell him about the giant rat problem.
Mm-hmm.
And I mention that one thing on my head is that it could be were-rats. And I ask him if he knows anything about that particular creature.
Were-rats? You mean lycanthropes that take the form of rats?
Yes. I've heard that werewolves can only be killed with silver, but I'm not sure if the same can be said for were-rats.
I think all lycanthropes suffer the same fate and have the same resistances. Magic weapons or those comprised of silver.
Very well. The diseases spread by rats. Do you know any way to protect against them? I'm not quite strong enough to cure people of diseases yet. It'd be easier to prevent the issue in the first place.
Keep your hands clean.
Don't get bit.
Don't get bit. Wash any wounds as quickly as possible. Are you a trained herbalist?
I am not.
Are
may
you a
know.
trained healer?
I am a healer.
He searches through his player's handbook for the rules on healing proficiencies.
I don't have a healing proficiency. But
Ah.
Yeah.
I see.
I thought you were saying, like, can I heal people?
No. Trained healer.
No.
What's your secondary skill, Van?
Mason.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Well, I have no tips for curing diseases that can be taught in a matter of minutes. These are things one usually devotes their life to.
I see.
Would
Quickly
it-
returning to town for treatment would be an option, though, however.
Yes.
Hey, Neil.
Although if these are were-rats, you won't be contracting a normal disease. Lycanthropy is an awful condition.
I understand. Aren't there, if you have contracted lycanthropy, aren't there methods of curing it if it's recently been contracted?
Yes. If you take some wolfsbane within the first day, within 24 hours of being bit, you are significantly less likely to contract the curse.
I
I
see.
would
How
definitely
much could I find wolfsbane for?
He tells you there is a priest shop in town that sells wolfsbane, and you can get it for why is it not in the book? I will give you a price for it in a bit. Is there any other questions you have?
Holy symbols. Would holy symbols help against them, or would they have to be made out of silver?
Holy symbols have no effect on lycanthropes. They are not vampires.
I understand. Silver or not, it will do no good.
Correct.
And I believe that's a purchase I can leave for another day.
It's belladonna. I'm sorry, not
Belladonna.
belladonna. Really? Do we not have belladonna in this book?
Nightshade? Are you sure it's Nightshade?
It says
That's right,
belladonna.
lycanthropy, you poison yourself.
It says belladonna.
Okay, cool.
I'm looking on the internet now.
I thought it was wolfsbane.
If a character eats belladonna within half an hour of the attack, there's a certain chance it will cure. Okay, so within half an hour of the attack, not within 24 hours.
Okay.
You just need a sprig. If you eat too much, you may still be cursed, but you're also incapacitated for 2d4 days. So just a little bit. Just a little bit.
Just a little bit
How
of
much
poison.
could I get?
You can find a sprig of belladonna for a silver.
Okay. So I'll get a few of those for us to eat in the event that we get bit, just as a precaution.
Okay.
So I'll buy, I guess, so we only need to eat one within half an hour?
Yeah, just a sprig of belladonna.
I'll buy 5 silvers worth, just to play it safe.
The
You're all in on this werewolf thing.
yeah.
I am just being careful.
The cleric gives you a look over and says, "Are you were-rats? Are you sure these
No,
creatures
not
have
at all.
never been sighted here?"
Not at all. I simply want to take a precaution. I'd rather deal with an ordinary and banal disease than lycanthropy.
I hear the people down in White Shore have to deal with werewolves, but I never figured lycanthropy would make it here.
I wouldn't have expected it either, but you can never be too careful on the road. It's the kind of thing that keeps you alive.
He nods. Well, I would be very keen on hearing your findings, one way or the other. If there are were-rats around, people should know.
If we brought back a corpse, would it help you to identify it?
I kind of thought it would be easy to tell a werewolf from a man, but
But were-rats, wouldn't were-rats be different than a werewolf?
yes, but well, when they die, do they turn into their what? I must confess, my knowledge of lycanthropes is limited.
I understand. On the safe side, I'll be sure to bring a head back with us and see if you can use that in any way to identify the nature of these rats.
Grizzly.
Grizzly rats. That sounds scary.
Grizzly rats. Those would be bad. Okay, so Croak goes and buys like hella poison. Like,
Well, as we walk
there's
away,
we're in a dock town. They have to have issue with rats. There's gonna be somebody out there that's gonna sell me rat poison for like a few silver.
What do you want? Arsenic.
Yeah, arsenic.
as
We're
we're
gonna,
walking
we're gonna
back
be
from the town
carrying
crier,
nightshade and arsenic down to Ratsport.
I say to Croak, did he say man-eating rats? I'm not sure these are the same rats that you get on the boats, Croak.
No, but I mean, come on. 3-foot rat, 6-foot rat, 2-inch rat, but just a rat. Put some poison in some refuse and some rotted out meats and whatever. They'll go to town, be happy, wake up dead the next morning. We got an easy fit to go, man.
Oh, actually, with that in mind, I say to the priest before I leave, I assume you've had to deal with rat traps before. Rats are a problem in every major city.
I usually have some of the other people deal with the rat traps. I don't handle them myself, but yes, we deal with them.
What do you use to lure the rats? I've heard cheese is a myth.
Brother Maynard, would you come over here, Brother Maynard? This Father Van Helsing here has some questions for you regarding rats. And he leaves you guys to discuss these things. Brother Maynard tells you that they use peanut butter.
Peanut butter. Okay.
So after you
Yeah.
say that, Croak, I say, surely, Croak, you remember our friend Corny? Little
I do.
guy.
I remember him every day.
Now, I posit you a scenario. You yourself and Corny are drinking at the half pint. It takes less beer for Corny to be intoxicated than yourself, correct?
Oh, of course, yes.
Now, I fear that the same thing may be true with these rats. You take a rat the size of a dog, it's going to need a lot more poison to kill it than it would a typical ship rat, would it not?
Oh, that's fair. That's a valid point. You're right. I should buy triple rat poison.
I think perhaps we should have some sort of alternative plan. I think that the men living in this town, were it so easy as just poisoning these rats, would they have really all been eaten alive? Like
We're
you
not
said.
talking about a whole town eaten alive by rats, are we? That was not the impression I got. I imagine it's some poor old soul that didn't get that fell down in a pile somewhere where the rats were nesting and you couldn't get out, or it's some child little running around didn't know where it was, got into some old abandoned home, got trapped somewhere. I don't think this is a invasion of the rat people we're talking about here.
I wouldn't be so sure. I mean, it was only a few months ago, was it not, that the town itself was invaded by all sorts of troublesome beasts.
Was it not hobgoblins? I mean, we've seen them before, and I wouldn't mistake one of them for a rat. And they say giants, and well, a giant
Fish
rat
creatures.
is a big thing, but is it really going to get mistaken for a giant? I don't know.
Yes,
Perhaps you're right. What would you suggest, Malachi? You are a man of talent and wizardry and all kinds of arcane and interesting things.
Well, our friend there, did he give us any sort of deadline on this mission?
No, sir. I'd like to get it done within a week or so. I feel like a travel out, kill him, travel back.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think we can't do it. I just think that perhaps we should set our expectations of battle a little bit higher. I feel this won't be as straightforward as you think it will be.
Okay. I mean, I appreciate your concern. I still feel like we should poison all these big-ass rats. At the very least, thin their number out. Okay, so battle preparation. I've never had to fight a rat. I fought a wolf once, but we trapped it and then shot it with an arrow. You know, I'm a hunter more so than a swordsman, despite this big old thing on my back. It's really for show, don't you know? What are you thinking?
Well, perhaps if we could find their burrow. Do rats live in burrows?
They nest all over the place, as far as I can tell. You can find them in cellars and the little nests. Sometimes they burrow underground. You find them out there. They live in trash and piles and dirt and mud and your own house, everywhere. They're persistent little beasts.
Well, I mean, how do you suggest poisoning an entire
Rats are drawn to food, right? That's what they want. They're going to eat and breed. I suggest we make a nice, tasty pile of food for them. Get them all the rubbish from the inns. Maybe throw some nice meat on there. Little peanut butter, cheese. I don't know what they like, but throw out a big ass pile of it in some abandoned house nearby to where the last rat attack they found. And then we poison the crap out of it. Go stay at the inn for a night. Come back, collect our 50 gold.
Well, that sounds reasonable, I suppose. It could work if we use enough poison.
All right, so you can find belladonna berries are extraordinarily poisonous. The leaves are as well, but the berries are more.
Mm-hmm.
Perhaps. So you can buy those up pretty cheap. Each berry is a copper.
Okay.
And the guy warns you that, I presume these are for rats, right? You're not looking to.
Yeah, apparently some poor soul trapped and maybe broke his leg or something, got ate by a rat. So they've hired us to go out and kill him, and I figured poison's the best way.
Yes. We often use belladonna here in our shop to get rid of these creatures. Do be careful. Don't squish the berry in your hands, else you might accidentally ingest some of it somehow. And a single berry shouldn't be fatal, but it could incapacitate you for days.
Will the rats voluntarily eat the berries, or do they instinctually know not to? Must we
Am I there at
disguise
this
it?
point?
Sure, you can all be together.
I say, could we cover it in peanut butter?
Probably, yes. The rats may eat the berries themselves if there is no other food available. We have left small piles of them around and found some missing.
You have
dead rats.
Gloves, yeah? Could you give us some gloves to work with them? Something that protect the skin?
We do not sell standard leather gloves here. All of our gloves are embroidered with the symbols of the gods. But if one glove is as good as another to you, I happen to have these fantastic Martha gloves right here. He says.
Oh no,
and
that's
he's got, like,
fine. You
little
say a
symbols all
leather
around them.
glove will protect the skin just fine. I'll pick up some leathers on the way out.
Are you sure you wouldn't have a leather glove that shows your devotion to the mother?
Oh, my friend, I point to our devotion. While it is to the mother, we worship more openly the goddess Cheese in all of her many appearances and forms.
Well then, isn't it not appropriate to worship the goddess of Cheese with gloves of Cheese?
I do say it is, Mr.
Van
Van.
says,
I
"Oh
think
my, how much are these gloves?" I look over them.
5 gold, but they've got like
This
Cheese
sounds like-
embroidered on the backs of the hand. They've got like, they're colored and their stitching is done with a different color of thread to give it like a cool aesthetic.
Say, this sounds like an absolute steal. You have yourself a deal.
Fantastic. Right.
nice. Okay, I'll buy. There are 1 copper each.
1 copper for a berry.
Tell me, good sir, what's the dosage for a common rat? 1 berry do it in?
1 would probably, 2 to be safe. It's difficult
Okay.
to make them eat it though, as you've said.
I will take 1 copper each. I will take 100 berries, please.
He goes back and returns with 45 berries and says, "This is all we have at the moment."
Well, that's a bit disappointing, but I suppose it'll do, and I'll pay him in silver and
Okay.
copper.
He only asked for 4 silver. He'll throw out
Okay,
the other 5.
I'll give him 4 silver.
I asked how much it would cost to get about a liter of peanut butter.
That's probably all the peanut butter that a single shop would have. You go around and a liter of peanut butter. It usually comes in small little jars, like this big.
Stack them into a liter.
So you can buy a liter's worth of peanut butter for like a gold, 2 gold for a liter of peanut butter.
Okay, so I buy that, and I suggest that we mix them with the berries since rats are attracted to it.
Sure. I'll leave that to you with your gloves, so we don't get our skin, the berry juice on our skin.
Oh,
and
absolutely
accidentally
not! I would
poison
never get peanut butter on these wonderful gloves. Have you seen the stitching? Red count.
ourselves. All right, I pick up a pair of like leather gloves on the way out of town.
Fantastic.
Is there an alchemist in town, Neil?
Oh God, what have I done?
no,
Oh,
what did
sweet
you-
Jesus and apple pie, what have I done? I've semi-destroyed the overlays. I'll get them fixed later. Sorry. Well, yes, there is an alchemist in town.
I would like to go to visit said alchemist.
Okay. There he is, hanging out in town.
Okay, yeah, so is he at a stall? Does he have a shop?
He's got a shop, and it's
Okay.
filled with all sorts of fluids and plants and strange-smelling things and powders and crystals and boxes and whatnots.
Good evening, friend.
Good evening.
I'm not sure. I'm not much of an alchemist myself. I've come across a couple of what I think to be potions, but I have no way of identifying their use. Perhaps it's something that you may have come across before. Perhaps maybe you could give me some insight.
I forgot we got those.
Yeah. So are we talking magical potions?
Well, maybe you could tell me that. I think so. I would think so.
I can help to identify those for a gold each. They are dangerous. Occasionally you
No, of
come
course.
across toxic ones, and they must be tested properly. The only way to truly test one is to ingest a little bit of it yourself, and if they're toxic, well...
And that's why I'm paying you, my friend.
That's why I take the money. A
right,
gold
so
each, and he will ID them for you.
Yeah, shan't. I give him 2 gold.
Yeah,
So it's the 2 potions that we got from the siren. Ceramic vials
right.
is all you told me.
2 potions. Where did I write them down? No, these are the...
We got them from the siren when we looted her house.
Mm-hmm.
They were the 2 Jasper gems,
Right.
and then the 2 ceramic vials.
Right. The other potions are the ones you gave to Bubba, the ones that you stole from the
Yes.
church. Okay.
Yes.
Um,
I'm disappointed Bubba got those.
All right. He tells you you have a potion of healing and a potion of vitality.
What does vitality do now?
The alchemist is an expert on all things potionic. That's a word.
Oceanic.
Definitely a word.
It is now.
We've made it one, yeah.
Potion of Vitality restores the user to full vitality despite exertion, lack of sleep, and going without food or drink for up to 7 days. It will nullify 7 days of sleep deprivation and will continue in effect for the remainder of its 7-day duration. The potion also makes the user proof against poison and disease while it is in effect. The user will recover lost hit points at the rate of 1 for every 4 hours.
This sounds
Wow.
amazing.
Yeah.
It's a pretty good
Like, I could
potion.
use that, and if it's like a rat, like if they're not were rats, there's regular rats, then I could beat the tank and not just like
I say to him,
gonorrhea, syphilis.
would it cure a disease? Or would it only prevent the contraction of one?
I haven't tested it, but I would presume drinking this would cure you of most natural diseases. Although it would seem a waste to cure disease with a potion such as this.
Out of interest, what would you say this potion is worth?
I don't think you can put a gold value on something that will save your life.
Well, you could. You can. You can put a gold value on anything.
Perhaps, but you know, he points to some guy walking down across the door out in the street. That man's life may be worth 5 gold. My life might be worth 1,000 gold. How does one properly judge the value of life? I think you could sell a potion like this to a king for one thing, and to me for quite a bit less. The
Seems
market
to me
is fluctuating. Fluctual.
Seems to me that an alchemist of your skill may be able to use this potion and learn to recreate it. Could you not?
No. Only clerics can create things like this. Potions blessed of the gods.
Clerics, you say? I'm
He
not there,
nods.
but I'm happy.
Oh. Yes, you need to be a 9th level cleric, and once you're hit 9th level, you can start making potions, man.
Yes.
Very well. Well, I shall keep hold of it then. Thank you for your insight.
He
Friend.
nods.
I didn't catch your name.
Wadsworth.
Wadsworth. It's good to meet you. My name's Malachi.
Nice to meet you, Malachi.
Wadsworth.
If you come across any more potions, do come back. And if you happen to, not want them anymore, I'll take them off your hands.
What kind of potions do you sell here, Wadsworth?
Simple poultices.
Healing poultices.
Yes.
And what do you sell them for?
10 gold each.
Well, I don't suppose I'll be needing them. And I pick up my 2 magical potions. I say, well, it's good to meet you, Wadsworth. I'm sure I'll see you again soon.
Nice to meet you, Mr. Malachi.
I walk out.
Okay.
I want to find the rest of the group.
Sure.
Back at the tavern, maybe. So, guys, I mean, it looks like we're all set to go on our rat hunting adventure. Could I perhaps petition you for a few days? I'm in the middle of a great amount of study, and it would not benefit me to be traveling on the road whilst this is ongoing. I can't tell you how long, but at most 2 or 3 days.
I think 2 or 3 days within reason.
Yes,
I've been
that should
one
be
happy.
fine. I imagine those rats aren't going anywhere.
Well, let's hope they don't eat any more people in the meantime.
You're just, letting people die while you study spells. It's okay.
Yep.
They don't matter
Sometimes-
until you see them.
Sometimes you have to make that sacrifice in order to save more lives in the future.
All right. Let's skip ahead until you learn irritation.
Yep.
Okay. Or you don't learn irritation.
Oh, I better learn it now.
If we're going to be there for 2 more days, I want to ask about getting like a silver-plated scimitar and how much that would cost.
Ooh.
Not even necessarily for this adventure, but because that might be a good thing to have in general.
So when you're asking a weaponsmith about creating a silver-plated scimitar, he immediately asks, "Silver-plated scimitar?"
Yes, for specifically for monsters that cannot be harmed through any other means.
You're gonna need solid silver for that. Definitely solid silver.
How much would that cost?
I think it's gonna cost you the same as a steel scimitar, so 10 times the normal price. Pricey, I know, but silver is expensive. You know,
I
it's not
understand.
the
I may not-
craftsmanship; it's the materials.
Yes, I understand. I may not be able to afford it now, but we shall see in the future. I don't know what the price would be, but
Well, if you can bring me just some bars of silver, that'll work as well. I don't need it in coin. To be honest, I'm just gonna melt down the coins and make the sword out of it. Don't tell the king.
Exactly.
Don't tell the baron.
I wouldn't dream of it.
Yeah.
Don't we have like loads of silver coins, Craig?
No, I put most of my wealth into gems.
Yeah, I remember that now.
Da, 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 da. Okay, so I think yeah. Go ahead.
Somebody in chat called the bullshit on needing solid silver. That it'd be too soft to sustain swinging the weapon around. You'd have to plate it.
Well, the person in chat is wrong because the books say you need solid silver, and you could
that's true.
alloy it with other stuff, and
Yeah, that's true.
you know, the books say otherwise. So
Take that, Zonala.
I didn't know if there was like a specific thing in the book or not.
yeah, there's specifically something in the book, which is why.
All right, yeah. So I spend the rest of the days getting through my study as soon as possible.
All right. I'm actually just looking for that silver thing in the book because I remember it specifically, but wanted to find it. Combat. Okay. Yeah, so we'll just skip ahead. You pass another 2 days, and you successfully learn irritation on the 12th.
Nice.
At the end of the 12th. And before we go on to Saturday the 13th, which is, I think, when you guys are going to take off, why don't we take our first break? And we'll be back to you guys in about 5 minutes.
Sounds good.
All right. See you guys on the other side of our break. Bye-bye.
See you later.